Ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Welcome in. This is Jake West, Director of Team FY and Sports, joined by head coach of the Haralson County Rebels, Scott Peavey. Coach, appreciate you sitting down with us today. Awesome season you guys are having. 10-1 on the year, and you've played some really good football teams along the way. Let's go back and look at the only blemish on your record against Manchester. It's never good to lose a football game, but maybe down the stretch, I mean, maybe that was good. What did you guys learn from that close loss on the road?
Well, we learned how to get our tail whipped. They lined up and whipped us, and we kind of pride ourselves on being physical and tough and all those things, and everything that we say we are. Manchester was when we played them, and they just lined up and whipped us, and it's one of those things that hopefully we learn from it, and we realize that if we don't figure it out, it's going to be a long year.
Well, it seems like you did figure it out, because speaking of whipping, you went into the Callaway game, had to go to Hogansville. Nobody was giving you guys much of a chance. I mean, you put a whipping on Callaway in that one. I mean, that's just shows how far you guys were able to come. I mean, just heading into this year, I know you guys have faced a lot of adversity, and you didn't really get a lot of respect heading into the year. But now, I mean, it's got to be something to do with the locker room, and I know you've got a lot of good senior leaders. Just talk about how much they've meant to the team, and they've changed kind of the outlook on this year. And I mean, nobody gave you a chance heading into that Callaway game. You come away with a 42-14 win. That's got to come down to just seniors that know, hey, it doesn't matter who we're playing, we're going to get up and we're going to be ready for this football game.
Yeah, we've tried to put them in a situation over the past few years to play as good a competition as we could play, to get us prepared for those kind of moments. And we played Cedar Grove in the spring, and everybody was asking why we did that. What are you thinking? And we played Dublin in a scrimmage also, and we just try to get our kids in those situations that we're not going to be afraid of anybody, and that we can play against anybody if we'll come together and play as a team, that we can compete with anybody. And I hope we've proved that. And it's crazy thing about high school football, you got to prove it in and week out, and which is good. And I'm excited about our kids. We got a tremendous group of kids in the locker room. It started a few years ago. We had a really good player named Traylon Shepard, and he kind of showed our kids how to work and how to compete. And we won some games that we probably should have never won. And and it just kind of got better from there. And we're at a school with probably limited athlete wise, but we've kind of got into a system that gives our kids a chance. And we really sell them on the fact that if we'll outwork people in the weight room, that we'll have a chance. And it's, through these kids' hard work and effort over these years that, they put together a string of wins. It's the fourth year in a row we've been in the playoffs. And so we finally broke another barrier by winning a region championship, and also winning a home playoff game. It's the first playoff win, no matter home or not, in school history. And we won one at home in front of a tremendous crowd, and we have great support. So it's just been good, man. Everybody is behind us, and it's a great community to win football games in.
Coach, how long have you been at Haralson County?
This is my fifth year, and I was here a long time ago in a really, really tough region, and I left, and then I most of my career has been in Alabama, and then a guy that was on my staff years ago is now the superintendent. And when they had an opening, they called me, and it's a great place to live. It's a great place to be. There's great people here. It was just a tough place to coach football, and I felt like at the time that they're in a region that they could compete with. If we could kind of figure some things out, we might have a chance to compete with those people. And thankfully, it worked out, and we've had some success. And because the kids are tremendous here, they'll work, and they're kind of throwback kids. They're yes sir, no sir. If I told them to be here at 4:30 tomorrow morning, they'll all be here, ready. Going crazy in the stadium, waiting on me. So it's been a great place.
Before we get into this coming week's game, I noticed you got another, at least as far as Max Preps goes, it says you've got another Peavey on your staff. Is that your
I
son?
I do. I was very fortunate. I was able to coach my son, through his whole playing career. and then he went and played football at the University of North Alabama, and then he just finished. And at the time he finished, we happened to have an opening in our school system as a middle school PE teacher, and what a blessing, as a dad to be able to coach your son and then to coach with your son. And he's a big part of our success here. He's a really sharp young coach, and does a great job with our special teams. And he does, everybody needs that young swaggy guy, and he's done that for us. And he's brought that, because I'm old and I lost all that years ago. So very thankful to have him and my whole coaching staff. I've been very, very fortunate to have some really, really good coaches they're probably better people than they are coaches, and they're tremendous football coaches. So very, very blessed to be able to hire all those guys and put together a great group of leaders.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm sure that is special every Friday night. You mentioned you've got kind of throwback kids. One kid can't get through a whole interview without talking about your quarterback Clay Hyatt. That's definitely a throwback kid right there.
Yeah,
He's definitely
he is. And the crazy thing is, he's got very, very few offers. And I just told you I was old. I must have missed the boat on what a football player looks like, because they just came out with the player of the year, whatever, Mr. Football, whatever that is, and
yeah.
he's not on that list. And I'm like, how is a kid who has over 1,900 yards rushing, 30 rushing touchdowns, got over 600 yards passing, 14 touchdowns. He's got 120 something tackles. He's got 14 sacks. How's that guy not in the running for Mr. Football? I'd like to see what those other guys are like. They must be unreal on that list. And that, I'm being sarcastic. He's a great football player. He's a great kid. He's a 98 grade point average. He's a 1,100 on the SAT. He was in the state finals in wrestling. He's ranked number 1 in wrestling. He's a 2-time state champion powerlifter guy. He's a all region baseball player. He's everything, and I must be missing what college coaches are looking for, because he's 6'1", 215 pounds. It's not like he's undersized. He's
Yeah.
And he's a war daddy now. I mean, every time we need big plays, that kid makes them, and
Yeah.
um, he's
That's
a leader.
one of the things I wanted to mention. I mean, he's your quarterback, but he's not your typical preppy quarterback. I mean, on defense, the kid's a menace. He's not he's not afraid to just play smash mouth football and break you over his leg.
That's right. He's just such a physical football player. How many coaches I mean, people think you're crazy. You playing your quarterback and inside linebacker, but we're trying to give the kid a chance to play somewhere and showcase his skills, and so, he plays in the box. He's a stack linebacker on the inside, and he's just a player. He's just a football player. And I wish more colleges would see that, or at least just explain to me what they don't see in him, because it baffles us. And I made a tweet this morning. They came out with that list, the Atlanta Touchdown Club, and I asked how that kid couldn't be on the list. There's a kid from Tryon, Rob Brown. He's had 2 400-yard rushing games in a row. He's got over 2,500 yards rushing. He's not on the list. Kid from South Atlanta is not on the list. The 2,400-yard rusher. It's crazy to me. I don't understand that either. But it is what it is. But the fact is there's some really good football players out there, and we've got a few of them ourselves, and we're just hoping that we keep playing hard. We can keep the longer we play, more people might recognize them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It seems like, especially in around this area, I mean, it's hard for those kids to get noticed.
It is, and it's such a hard time in college football, with kids got an extra year and they
Yeah.
can transfer, this whole transfer portal thing, and all those things that make it really hard on kids to get recruited now. And and there's so many good football players. I understand that. I just, the communication factor between coaches and the colleges has been very hard to understand. But they got a difficult job too. I get it. But like I said, when the stats kind of speak for themselves,
Yeah.
what the kid can do.
Moving on to this week, you've got Northeast Macon, second round of the playoffs. How's practice been this week for you guys?
It's been great. I think everybody's advice to me is, Coach, don't let your team look at them. I was like, don't look at them. They're so big. Don't even let them look down the other end of the field when they're warming up. So that's a little intimidating. But yeah, I've seen them on film, and they are a very, very large group of kids, and they do a great job coaching them. Got lots of athletes, so got a huge challenge ahead of us, and at our home stadium, and but man, we couldn't be any more excited to have that opportunity.
Yeah, you mentioned it is at home. You mentioned earlier also you guys got your first playoff win in history last week. So it's awesome to play again at home in the second round. You also mentioned how big this team is, but I still think you match up pretty well with them. As far as game plan wise, what do you expect from them? Because you play hard nosed football, and they've got big guys that also play hard nosed football. So it's kind of like just a clash of the titans.
It is, and they've got a lot of speed. They've got an outside receiver committed to Marshall, 6'4" receiver, really good looking athlete. They've got a quarterback that's committed to play basketball at Mercer. They've got an offensive lineman, I think he's committed to Georgia, the left tackle. They got a nose guard committed to Troy, and they got a free safety committed to Georgia State. So we just got a bunch of kids that just play really hard and love the game, and so we're going to see how those matchups work out for us. But it's a huge challenge for sure. When you're playing those kind of kids, and they're about 6'5", 300 plus across the front, and same with the defensive line. They're all 310, 315. They're big, big, big football team, and so it's going to present a big challenge. The last time we played some big guys up front didn't work out well for us. So hopefully we've learned some things and can make some adjustments to give ourselves a chance.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like you guys have come a really long way from that first loss. I mean, looks like a completely different football team out there. And credit to you, coach, and your coaching staff for what you've been able to do. And you mentioned you've been there for 5 years. There's been seems like a complete culture change, and we're pulling for you to just keep that culture change going and keep on fighting the good fight. I mean, it seems like you're teaching these guys how to not just be good football players, but also be great young men.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And we do spend a lot of time doing that in the culture change. Our community. If people are out here listening and they don't know what game to go to, if they want to have some fun, this is a fun place to play football. And our crowd, we have 10,000 cowbells ringing, and we have a jumbotron with a fantastic. Our announcer is unbelievable. He is awesome, and we have a great atmosphere for football. It is a lot of fun, and it's a lot of fun to coach these guys when they play their guts out, and the community's behind them 100%. And so we've been really blessed to be in the situation that we're in, and so hopefully we can continue because we're having the time of our life.
Oh yeah, it sounds like it. Well, coach, we'll be pulling for you Friday. Appreciate you taking time out of your day to sit down and talk with us. Go Rebels!
I appreciate you. Thank you very much for your, putting some publicity to our kids and our community, and very grateful for that. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thanks, coach.
Take care.